And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock Game 3 edition. We're heading to Indiana. We've got the Thunder. We've got the Pacers. 1-1. This is a pivotal game. If the Pacers want any real chance, it has to happen here. I'm Josh Engelman. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engelman. We're here. We're back. I'm excited. I want to watch some basketball. You're going to get me on playback immediately after this. I mean, I'm already live right now, but I'll be live for the whole game, or at least until it's not competitive. And hopefully it's just competitive the entire time. Playback.tv/Stokastic. If you want to be there, you can come watch the game with us. You could potentially get a VIP and you just get to watch it. I got 20 of those that I could hand out. Subscribe, load your own League Pass account if you can. Either way, we're going to be there breaking it all down. And we've got 28 and a half minutes until we get to lock. We've got to wait on starting lineups, which I don't think are changing, but, you know, they could. And once we get those officially, and once we have our Sims official, we could dig into it a little bit more. One thing that I want to touch on right out of the gate has nothing to do with this game. Anybody thinks that it matters that the Knicks aren't able to talk to Chris Finch, Ime Udoka, Quinn Snyder, whom I met, Jason Kidd? That is the least surprising thing and not a story in any way. Don't know why it's getting reported like that. Not a thing. Don't stress over that. David Welsh, I do not blow dry my hair. Absolutely not. Not happening. It just is naturally fantastic like this, you know? Marquee Sports, glad you liked that video. So far, so good for the Mets. 3 runs, got a lefty homer. I'm telling you, I don't blow dry, guys. Here's what I do. Straight comb through it, dangling in front of my face. Shake my head around a little bit to knock off the excess water, comb it, and go about my business. Swear. I did let my wife use the Dyson wand during COVID when I grew my hair out. It's bad. I hope those pictures never get out. Anyway, let's break it down because we have 27 minutes left to go. And I'm going to get right into it right now because assuming nothing changes in the starting lineups in the next couple minutes, this data that we have here is going to be good to go. And this data is showing us getting SGA in 33% of lineups at 13K in the captain spot. 81% overall. That is 30% more ownership than anybody else on this slate. Next closest guy is J-Dub at 51. Is this my natural hair color? Yes. I certainly don't have the energy to dye my hair. Now, if this were high school, you would see some blonde highlights in this bad boy. Circa everything that everybody did in like 2000. Anyway, 30% more ownership coming into SGA over 2 guys, J-Dub and Siakam. And those 2 things make the most sense to me. J-Dub at 10.4, still a manageable price tag, but a guy that hasn't like truly had a game so far in these finals and certainly can. And then Siakam at 9,400 is just easier to get to than an 11K Tyrese Halliburton. I'm very nervous about Halliburton today, and it's not really like, yes, we have the murmurings that he's not fully healthy. We watched him limp off the stage, I guess, whatever you want to call it, when he was given an interview after game 2. I don't really read into that. I'm sure all of their bodies hurt like hell and they want to limp after a 48-minute game in the playoffs. But at the very least, there is a non-zero chance that he's not totally healthy. And at 11K, you're kind of seeing it. 8% at the captain. That's lower than SGA, J-Dub, Siakam, and Chet. 44% overall. Sorry, 42% overall. To me, Halliburton's a tough guy to get to. I think like if you're a 1 lineup, 2 lineup, 3 lineup type person, I think he's a very big linchpin for No lineup changes for the Thunder, SGA, Wallace, Dort, J-Dub, Holmgren. If you're a believer personally in Indiana today, then I get the idea of wanting to get Halliburton here, and then you're probably leaving out like J-Dub or Chet in that regard. If you're not that big of a believer in Indiana, I really find it tough to get to Halliburton, because if he's going, I feel like that gets everybody going. Because either the shots are falling or he's just diming people up. One of those two things can happen, and that will keep Indy in it more. I'm nervous that that happens for all of the reasons we've seen so far. I think the most important thing that we need to talk about, for those of you that didn't watch the strategy show and don't know this yet, Benedict Mathurin, as of right now, is the fourth most owned guy on DraftKings. This is a completely different conversation point on FanDuel. On the FanDuel side, he's 12% owned. On the DraftKings side, he's 44%. I don't even think there's much of a debate. He's pretty clearly the best value option. The only guy that's even close to him is 10% less owned. That's Obi Toppin. He's $2,000 more expensive. McConnell is $1,600 more expensive and way less owned. The only other guy that's like truly comparable would be $3,200 Aaron Wiggins, who's 15% owned. I tend to think that comes in a little higher, just because he is going to be a natural name to click on after game 2. And in that case, I kind of feel like even at 20%, if he were that, he's still underowned. Now, I'm nervous, at least a little bit, but this, to me, it's not a points chasing thing. I just think he's good for this series because he provides additional creation, and they don't have too many other guys that are really going to be doing that. So even if he doesn't get the same minutes that he did last time out, and I don't expect him to, anything in that like 12 to 16 range is still more than enough for a guy sitting at a $3,200 salary. And not to mention, it's not like he's pulling that much ownership. For Mathurin, I like him. The value is very clear to me. But 44% ownership on a showdown slate does make me wonder, do I just bet on every other value option? Where do you guys land today? Chat, hit me with your thought process here. Where do you want to go for value? Is it Benedict Mathurin at 2,400? Is it McConnell? Is it Thomas Bryant at 1,200, who scares the hell out of me? Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Ben Shepherd. Where are you guys going for your value today? That's what I want to know. We're still waiting on the Pacers lineup, which is basically impossible to change. No to Shepard and Bryant. Yeah, I tend to be on that side too. Zach Fisher, Kenrich. I find him fascinating. 4% owned right now. Feels like he's certainly going to get a couple minutes. Is he a big per minute dude? No, of course not. But he fits in any lineup construction. Any like foul trouble you see out of Chet or Hartenstein could certainly get him on the floor a little bit more. I think he's better for this series than Isaiah Joe, if you're looking in that range. So I do like the shout for Kenrich Williams. He's somebody that I will pay attention to at least a little bit. I see no way that you could click on Tony Bradley with any sort of confidence. The most likely scenario is that he doesn't play. I think Thomas Bryant is a very interesting conversation piece, because I don't think he's long for this series. And if the minutes are going to go anywhere, I think they might be going somewhere at least a little bit today. Pacers lineup is in: Halliburton, Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, Turner. There was no chance that was going to be any different. They don't have anybody else that could slip into that starting lineup right now. So we're mostly just waiting it out, trying to get this updated data. I have my exposures from prior to the show, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm nervous. And it's going to be something that I will tweak a little bit more than I normally do. Especially if this were like a regular season showdown or even like a first round or second round showdown, I probably wouldn't touch a thing. I do feel like there's some manual manipulation that I can do today to get myself a little bit closer to what I actually want. For example, I have a lot of Thomas Bryant on my first run. I am not super confident that that's a guy I want a massive stand on. I'm not saying I don't want any. I don't need him to be my biggest over the field guy. TJ McConnell, a guy that I have taken a dump on for the past 2 games, is my 3rd most over the field guy. I don't want that either. Ben Shepherd is my 4th most over the field guy. I don't want that either. All of the guys that I am getting to, I want to try to get a little bit less so that I can get Kenrich, so that I can get maybe a little bit more Isaiah Joe, and certainly a little bit more Aaron Wiggins, because right now the biggest fades that I have, I'm not surprised to see. It scares the hell out of me because all 5 of them are Pacers, but at the same time, my expectation is that the Oklahoma City Thunder cover this game. But I'm very light on Nesmith. Mathurin is going to be a guy where that's just the way that I'm lowering my dupes across the day. I'm going to pray that Benedict Mathurin isn't the necessary value guy today. And he's like a coin flip to be that. But he's going to play a big role for me in just not having it. But I'm light on Nembhard. I'm light on Siakam. I'm light on Toppin. And a lot of this is happening just because I'm having a lot of trouble getting away from Shea, particularly in the captain spot. His projection is so much higher than any other one individual today. And I guess for game 1 and game 2. But I'm having a lot of trouble getting away from him. So much so that when I ran my sims before this started, I had the full bag, 100%. Now, that's not all of the captain. It's basically a 50-50 split. I don't think that's going anywhere, but it might be impacted slightly if I do bring down the ownership for myself on Bryant, McConnell, and Shepherd. Obi, coin flip is 50%. Yeah, I mean, currently projected for 44% ownership. That's pretty close. So let's see what we have going on in terms of updates, because I assume that's getting pushed in the next couple seconds if it hasn't already happened, and it certainly might have. 805 and 807, we are done. We've got the updated ownership. I'm going to refresh what's on the screen right now. I can't imagine it's going to change all that much. And in general, it hasn't. Mathurin's still sitting there 4th. Let's take a look at the FanDuel side for you guys as I start to run my sims on the opposite end. Let's get that started. Don't forget, hit that like button. Helps out a ton. If you're ever looking to sign up at Stokastic, we still have a bunch of slates left on the NBA side if you wanted to grab an NBA week. Baseball is every day, multiple slates. UFC every weekend. What am I missing? NASCAR every weekend. Hockey, still not done. Which sport am I missing? I'm missing something obvious. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. Every sport that exists right now. I don't know why I'm missing one. Ooh, you're a towel. Hit me with the super chat. Josh, why is Mathurin not a good play on FanDuel versus DraftKings? I did not say that. I just simply quoted their ownership, where Mathurin at 2,400, much better value, simply because of the way value works. On the FanDuel side, 1,800, 11% owned. I find him much more interesting. Like, if I were playing both sites today, I would expect to have more Mathurin on FanDuel and way less on DraftKings. I don't hate the value proposition for Mathurin on the FanDuel side. It actually, Benedict Mathurin on FanDuel fits this series in my mind more than it does on DraftKings. DraftKings, he just has a broken price, and it's causing him to be disproportionately owned. FanDuel values just a little bit different. You have an extra $10,000 in salary. So that value piece isn't as important. But I also think that he is live to get more minutes as this series goes on, and they trim some of these other guys a little bit more. So it's not that he's a good play or a bad play on either site. I mean, technically speaking, he's a better play on DraftKings because of his salary. I'm using it as a way to get different and keeping me in the realm of getting like the primary dudes today. But I'm fascinated by Mathurin on the FanDuel end at that price tag and at that limited ownership. Pacers in 7. Hope you're betting it. Hope you're betting it. There's some money to be made if that's what you think. All right, so I just generated my lineup pool, and I'm going to make a couple small tweaks to sort of manipulate my ownership a little bit. I'm going to take a minute off of TJ McConnell. I'm going to give a minute to Andrew Wiggins. I'm going to take a minute off of Thomas Bryant, a minute off of Ben Shepherd. I'm going to give a minute to Kenrich Williams. And I'm going to let that be my test case to start. And then we'll see what we got. Pacers in 7 already bet. Nice. I would probably cash that out right now. It's going to look worse after this one. Chat. Let's do it. We've got 14 minutes to go. Who wins? Line's 5, or at least it was the last time I looked. Who wins? I want to know where everybody's feeling it, because I feel like it's going to be, I don't know, 60-40 OKC, 70-30. Let me do a poll. Why wouldn't I have done that? Let's start a poll. Who wins? OKC, Indy. All right, the poll is up. Hit me with your answers. Let me know what you guys are looking at for today. I am curious where you guys are going to end up and who wins this game. I'm curious to see how many people know the right answer. That's the most important thing to me. How many of y'all know the right answer? Seems like 63% of you know the right answer so far. And that answer is the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, I got my projections done. Let's paste those bad boys in. 60, I mean, it is 60-40. I've pretty much called that, but, you know. I feel like a lot of you guys that are voting Indy right now need to be firing that money line. That's fun to see. Indy wins tonight, but don't win again. Whew, man. Well, I mean, if you want to bet Oklahoma City, that is the way to do it. Because that's what you're hoping for, right? All right, I got my lineups done. Let's see what they look like with just that tweak. And I'm going to see if I need to go back in to slightly change these guys up a bit. Oh, boy. My top lineup has McConnell. Probably won't get in because of ownership, but not what I wanted to see. All right, lineups are in. And as I look at it right now, most over the field on Shea, no surprises. I do have now a decent stand on Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins. I am, let's see, let's find the guys that matter most to me. I'm about half the field of Benedict Mathurin, and I'm completely okay with that. That's just the way that I'm going to be different. Where Ben Shepherd, slightly over the field, not ideal, but I'll take it. 13% of Kenrich, 20% of Isaiah Joe, still 22% of Thomas Bryant, which is more than I'd like. But right now, I'm kind of happy with this. I don't mind this breakdown at all. So now that I have my placeholder lineups in, I'll tweak on the back end, but let's hit me with the questions. Wow, 58-42. I'm going to kill that poll. 168 votes in. 58-42 OKC. That's bold, folks. That's bold. So hit me with your questions. Anybody in chat, drop them in. If you're in Discord, drop them in. I'll take a peek at those. I'm just uploading my stuff right now. And then we will be good to hit anything over these final 10 minutes. God, I'm pumped to watch this game. This one feels like it's got like real stakes. What's the cheapest player I would roster at captain? That's an interesting question. I mean, take a look. I can tell you, I would expect to not have anybody all that cheap. I have 2 shares of Caruso, like 2 or 3 of Mathurin. I guess Mathurin is the cheapest I would go at captain, but I don't have much of him. I've got like 3 or 4 lineups of like Mathurin or McConnell. I wouldn't really go any further down. But I mean, I have most of my captain exposure is Shea, and then I'm either neutral to the field on the other pay-ups or like just a hair under. Let's see what else we got here. Let me see if I have anything in Discord right now. I do not. Right now, my 5 biggest stands are SGA, Joe, Hartenstein, Wallace, and Wiggins. My 5 biggest fades are Neesmith, Mathurin, Chet, Nembhard, and Toppin. Surprised to see Chet there. I don't like that. This strikes me as a spot where I'm going to be mad about that in like an hour, but I can handle it. I got to be, look, you got it. Sometimes you got to play a little bit less of somebody. I am a little bit over the field on J-Dub, so if I got to take one, I'll take one. Not to mention, Isaiah Hartenstein's my 3rd biggest stand, so if I'm going to be light on Chet, I don't mind being a bit heavier on Isaiah Hartenstein. In a Thunder blowout, which player do you think capitalizes on it most for DFS? Hard to say, because I assume that in these situations, most of these blowouts happen in reverse. It's not that the Thunder have like a 90th percentile offensive day. I usually assume that if there's going to be a blowout here, at least on the OKC side, it happens because their defense is exceptional. So I think it's sort of like reverse capitalization. I'm in a situation where there's a Thunder blowout, I simply just want less Pacers, or at the very least, likely less of the main Pacers. Malakar says Turner Knight. That's a name that I probably haven't even said so far. I'm dead neutral to the field. I can't say that I disagree. Well, it's not that I think that it's a Turner Knight, but I do believe that they need to play him significantly more than they have. My goal today would be that Miles Turner plays at least 36 minutes today. I think that's what they need to have any shot here. If they're going to continue to play him 31, 32 minutes, they don't have anything else backing him up that could stem the bleeding. The Thomas Bryant minutes aren't going to be great. The Thunder are thrilled when he's out there because they're going to run double bigs, and then the Pacers aren't going to score. They can't go to Obi Toppin at the 5 because that's as bad as it could possibly get in terms of center defense. The Thunder will get to the rim whenever they want in those situations. I think the main key, if you guys think the Pacers are going to win today, I think that has to come on the back of Miles Turner. That doesn't necessarily mean that he has to have a big offensive game, but I do think that he has to be out there and have more opportunity for the Pacers to actually have a shot here. Sam, he would have played 30 minutes in the last one if they didn't get boat raced. What do you have, 27 and change? Never played his final rotation. But ultimately, I think they need him to play significantly more. Otherwise, he's the only way that this Pacers defense can hold up. That's really the long and short of it. If they want to have any chance, they need Miles Turner to be the rim protector that he has generally always been. He's a guy that I wouldn't mind having a bit more of. But at the same time, I also am not a huge believer in the Pacers. So in a way, I don't mind. Right now, 44% of my lineups are 4-2 Thunder. 30% of my lineups are 3-3s. And then 15% of the lineups are 5-1 OKC. I only have 10% overall that are Pacers dominant. So I am very much more on the Oklahoma City side. And that's exactly where I want to be. Let's see what else we have here. Let me check out chat. 4 minutes to go until lock. If you do not have your lineups in right now, I would highly suggest you start getting those bad boys uploaded. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you don't get them in. And final reminder, always, always, always leave a placeholder lineup that's real in your contest. Otherwise, you're just going to put yourself in a bad spot. So make sure you're always using at least a real placeholder. Jeff B says he went 6 indie players and 1 OKC. You better win today if they're giving you an extra player. And don't forget, guys, we've got golf starting up tomorrow. We got a major. So don't be afraid to go check out all of the golf content that we have on the channel. I believe Eric is going live tonight on Twitter Spaces at 9:30. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, on the OddsShopper Twitter account, Eric and a couple more guys will be hopping on and breaking down this tournament tonight. Kicking off tomorrow. If you guys want to check it out. Jeff, that's too bad, man. I was really hoping you got an extra guy. Steven, I got to ask, what the hell is in between Indy and OKC? That feels like no man's land to me. Jeff's going Halliburton captain. Bold. Bold. Obi-Wan, we will be live on playback. Well, we're live right now. I've been sharing OddsShopper. OddsShopper.com, the portfolio EV tool, a market-based approach to beating the books and the pick'em sites. I've been sharing the top plays and top bets that are available for this entire show. You guys can see them right now. Still no shout out for dominance in WNBA yesterday. I'm changing my avatar. What did I miss? Sam, what did I miss? Shepard or Bryant? I mean, honestly, William, neither for me. Did we get an answer to that? First an NBA showdown. That's it. Nice, man. Good work. Oh, wait. Did you put that in Slack? Or in Discord, rather? Oh, no. That's a different WNBA lineup. Well, Sam. Good work, man. Shout out Sam. Shepard has a 70s porn mustache. He sure does. The countdown is on, folks. 50 seconds to go to get your lineups in before we're live on playback watching Game 3. I hope you guys come to join me. We had fun in Game 1 for sure, including getting to watch the second Tyrese Halliburton buzzer beater live on playback, which is incredibly fun. We had fun on Game 2 until it was just over. The Indy crowd is going to be wild tonight for their first finals game in however many years that's been. 20? I can't remember now. So let's go watch some basketball on playback. Link is in chat right now. Playback.tv/Stokastic. Thank you guys for joining me here tonight. This is fun. Next game is what? Friday and then Monday? Am I getting that right? Just want to let everybody know where we're going to be. Yeah, Friday night, 8:30. We're going to do the same thing. I'll be here for Live Before Lock. We'll get the full playback stream, and then we get the weekend off. But Monday, I'll be back again, doing it again. So thank you guys for being here. We are locked. And wait, don't worry. I got like $200 worth of Amazon snacks delivered earlier today. I got plenty of treats for myself for the next couple hours. Let's go watch some basketball. I'll